Greetings, I'm Barron, and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. Don't need to adjust your sets. This is right. There's a big giant white box on my table. It's filling up the entire screen. This is Aeon's Trespass Odyssey, one of the games I have been most anticipated for the last couple years. It is finally here. The size of this box is compared only to Kingdom Death Monster in its actual size. Its length and width is very, very similar, if not the same, but its height is bigger. So it is a bigger game than Kingdom Death Monster, which means we're going to be opening this thing and we're going to dig into it and see what it's all about. We're going to be doing painting videos. We're going to be doing playthrough videos. This game couldn't have came at a better time. I'm super excited to dig into this and see what it's all about. On top of that, we also have the Aeon's Trespass luxury tiles expansion set to go with this, and our neoprene mat that was also part of the Kickstarter or Game Found. This is only going to be the first part of it. There is even more coming after this wave. This is only the first wave of shipment. There is even more coming. Oh my gosh, this is going to be amazing. If you're excited to see what's inside the box for Aeon's Trespass Odyssey, then I need you to meet me at the table. We'll pull the massive box lid off. This thing is over 30 pounds. Which is unprecedented for a board game. Let us see what is inside this thing. Oh my gosh, we're gonna start with tons and tons of cardboard. Okay, we'll take this out, we'll open these up and see what's inside. Our first punch board here has all of them combined are going to have over 74 different terrain tiles. That's what these over here are. These are also terrain tiles right up here. These are going to be anchor tokens. These are going to be per character, I believe. They're, as you can tell by the colors, I'm sure that they have to do with the characters themselves. We also have some of the story tokens up here. Moving on to our next one, we again still have more of those tile tokens down here for the terrain. And on top of that, we have condition tokens and we have ambrosia tokens kind of sitting off over here. Oh, these are double-sided, by the way. These could all be maybe condition tokens. We'll keep looking. And yes, they are double-sided. See how they are double-sided? This is pretty sweet. These over here are going to be some of our story tokens as well. These are going to be success tokens, where the other ones you see are going to be our doom tokens. These red ones right here, these are doom tokens. These are progress tokens. The gray ones are kind of more generic tokens. We also have fatigue tokens, so I believe these are going to affect certain of some of our stats as we're playing through the game. This game does have 3 different stages. You're either in a battle phase or you're in a adventure phase, and the final stage is a voyage phase. And somewhere in all of that, you're going to be using a lot of these different tokens. And if we continue on, we have even more. These again are more of our different terrain tokens that we're going to have out on the board when we're doing our battles. We have some of our, I believe those must be maybe character tokens of some kind, or they could be what they refer to as nymphs. We'll have to see how those all play into the game. And again, we still have even more tokens coming in. And on top of that, we do have our 4 different combat dials here that we're going to have here. They have Rage, Fate, and Danger, and you're going to put these into these, creating these little dial systems. One thing about this game is that as you're fighting, you're going to be gaining these values, which is going to potentially make your character more powerful. But the problem is, if these ever get too high, your character also has the potential of dying from those. Over here, you see a bunch of Kratos tokens, and as you're fighting, I believe it's depending on your rage value, you're able to add these to the pool, giving the next player in line, or the next character you have in line, the ability to maybe potentially do more damage, or be easier to break a location, or be able to hit a location in that different thing. That's what these Kratos tokens are all for. Some of these right here are our charge tokens. Maybe there are certain powers that are going to be able to gain charges. And these are some of our ambrosia tokens right up on the top there. And if we flip these over, I think they're going to be dual-sided, but they're probably going to be very similar. The charge tokens do flip over, though, and they become a different type of charge token. So there might be 2 different uses for those charge tokens as we go. But this is all the cardboard elements from the top. There's only 4, which isn't that many compared to for a game this size. This game is going to be an absolute monstrous masterpiece. So we'll see how this all goes. This is the board. I'm not going to lay it out because I do have the neoprene mat, and it's exactly the same. So we'll see that in just a little bit. The next thing we have is our different cycle books. We have the second and third one, and the last, of course, one is our first one. This is going to be 3 different cycles in this box, and then there's like a 4th and 5th and so on and so forth are going to be coming through the rest of the wave as it comes out. And I believe the Pledge Manager is reopening as this ships so that people can rejoin and get some of the other expansions if they really enjoy what they see. This is going to be a monstrous game that is going to, look at this. Look at these books, absolutely filled with narration. And I'm just going to open the first page. I'm sure that shouldn't spoil too much because it's going to probably start out here on the first page. But there are 122 different parts that are going to be part of this first part of the game here. And what is this book? It tells us exactly what it is, how to use this, starting the first cycle. And from what I understand, if you're playing through this, I believe once you finish the first one, you'll go straight to the second one. I think things carry over. I could be completely wrong. I have not played yet, but I think it'd be pretty cool as you go through it that these cycles all work together. Now, I believe they all end in, I'm going to guess, some kind of epic boss fight of some kind. So we'll see how it all plays out. But this is, I mean, look at this. This looks almost like a textbook from college or high school or something. Oh my gosh, you put all 3 of these together. An absolute mountain of playability here. We have only just begun to scratch the surface. A lot of this is going to be taken up by the miniatures. There are so many miniatures in here. Some of them are even going to be used to put on other miniatures, or other miniatures are going to be standing on them. For example, what these are going to be. There are, let's see here, what can we find here? So we have some of our bigger miniatures down here. Let's take this off, which is neat that they all have a nice little place for them to sit. This particular miniature right here is the first player token, or the one that has the, I believe, the most rage is going to be the one that gains the priority target, which is what this is, the priority target token. Now, this, I believe, was a Kickstarter opening thing. This is really thick, durable stuff. This is great because hopefully it shouldn't break. Wow, that's actually really, really good. I like that a lot. Now, there are a bunch of Titans in here. Those are going to be, I believe, our player characters when they go out onto the board. Or at least we're going to be controlling them as we are going to be the ones controlling them. For example, here is one right here. Here is one of the Titans. And they are pretty big characters, I believe. I mean, if you look at this thing's holding a ship for a shield, which is out of control. Let's see some of the other Titans. Here's one right here. It's got a giant spear-like thing. I don't even know what it is that it's holding from, but it could be a piece of something. Oh, look at this guy. This is an absolutely monstrous-looking dude. This guy is going to be awesome. Look at this. This person, it's a little squid dude. It's kind of very like Cthulhu-y, but it's also one of our Titans, so it could be somebody we're going to be able to control. Here looks like an earth-pound ground guy. Earth-pound ground guy. And the miniatures, I think, are going to be really fun to paint up. I'm excited to get these painted. And of course, I do live painting videos. We try to do them once a week, so you'll be seeing some of these painted live, and you can, I'll be showing you how I'm able to do them. Look at this guy. He's on the boat, just kind of hanging out. He's just hanging out on the boat. That's pretty sweet. So I believe some of the smaller ones are going to be our Titans that we're going to be able to control. And then some of the bigger ones down here, these are going to be the creatures we're going to have to try to face. These are going to be the different primordials that we're going to be facing as we fight. Look at this one. Oh man, look at the texture in there. It's going to be fantastic. Look at this guy. Looks like something out of the mist. Oh my gosh, this guy looks awesome. Look at the size comparison of this guy. He's standing on, that one's standing on the ship, but this one's like crushing the ship with 1 foot. That is out of control. Holy moly, that's amazing. What else can we see? We got like face guy here, baseball guy. I don't know, he's got some like metal limbs here that we'll have to paint up. That looks pretty sweet. Then we got this guy. He's swinging around 2 giant clubs here, or 2 giant things. And look, he's standing on top of a city. He's on top of a city. Oh my gosh, we're going to have to take this guy out. That is going to be super, super fun. At least we'll maybe take him on. Now this right here, this is our boat that we're going to be moving around out on the map. I'll show you how that works in a second here. It's very reminiscent of the 7th continent, where you're going to kind of move around on a map and do some adventures as you're doing it. That's going to be part of the journey phase. Or I should say voyage phase. I'm sorry, journey phase, voyage phase. Yeah, pretty similar. Let's see some of these other ones. Oh my gosh, look at this guy right here. Oh, here he comes. Oh, he's got a big giant hammer. That guy looks pretty awesome. I mean, there's so many cool ones. And the interesting thing is to see which ones unlock and which ones you can use while you're fighting and which ones you're going to have to try to, you won't get till the end or something like that. It'll be really neat to see what they are. Here is a giant guy with tons of arms. We'll have to try to take this guy out. Oh, and look, he's got like kind of some runes in his arms here. So we'll have to try to face that guy as we play through the game. That'll be pretty awesome. Now, like I said, there's some over here that look like are going to be potential what do you call them, like bases for as the game goes on, or it could be something that is going to be inserted into a mini as we're playing it. Here's another, it looks like a pedestal of some kind, or it like is going to slot into something and something then can stand on it. Oh my gosh, that'll be awesome. Something stands on that. And here we have even some more. I wonder if these are more of our titans here. This guy's got a flaming sword. Oh, it looks just like my wife's barbarian sword. She plays a fairy barbarian with a flaming sword. It's pretty sweet. A flame tongue. Let's see what we have here. What's this one? This one's a giant maul, or giant huge club he's going to move around and swing at. And it doesn't look like he has much of a face. They all have like helmets on and stuff, which is pretty interesting. We'll have to see how that's all about. But we're going to move on from there. We're going to take this off. And we're going to dig down deeper because look at this. We have the miniatures of all miniatures right down here. Oh my goodness, look at this giant thing. These are going to be probably your final primordials. And I'm sure this is the kind of stuff that you're going to be are going to have those pedestals and stuff. Do these like fit in here somehow maybe? I don't think this one fits in there, but I'm sure something maybe does. I don't see why it wouldn't. I mean, this thing could fit in here. Here we go. Look at this. This thing's going to fit right in here. I don't know its play value to be able to fit it in like that, but it does fit in there. Not exactly sure what it's going to do, but it looks like something can stand on it. Let's see what else we have. We have this one right here. This one looks like it's supposed to have some wings that kind of go off on it, so I bet like one of these is supposed to be part of it or something. No, that's not it. But oh, here we go. These insert right here. There's one for that side, and I bet there's another wing in here somewhere. I bet I can find it. There's got to be a wing in here somewhere. Maybe a wing and a prayer is what I'm going to find here. Here we go. Ooh, it's me. Believe it or not, I can see. Here we go, right here. Boom, the face goes in there. There we go. We got this guy. Oh, there's even more. There's just stuff to attach. It just keeps on going. Look at this. Now, of course, as I'm attaching these things, I'm not going to be able to get it back in the box because now I have to pull those out to get it back in. Oh, the last wing is down here. Here it is. It looks like it looks like something broke off here. Oh, that's okay. I'll just have to glue it back on. Yep, it did break off somewhere. Not the end of the world. I can glue miniatures. I can take care of that later. We'll put that right in here as I almost drop it on top of Boat Boy there. And let's see what this one is. This one's absolutely huge too. This one's out of control. And this one has something on top as well. That's, I'm sure, where some of these other ones are going to go, like this thing right here. Does that fit in there? Nope. It's got to be something. Something's got to fit in there. Does this thing fit in here? I mean, oh, I bet it's this. I bet this thing fits in here. There we go. And then somebody can stand on top of that. Does that fit in there? Yeah, it does. Then something can fit on top of that, making it even more difficult combat or something. So that is pretty neat how they're able to do stuff like that. So we'll get these guys back in this box and we'll continue. You know what? I'm going to leave them out of the box. That's fantastic. We're going to pull this, which I believe is going to expose all of our cards. Oh, and there we got our rule book, our Learn to Play book. We're going to need that. And I think this is all that's there in that side. Yes, it is. So let's take this out. This is our rule book. We'll have to read through this. They nicely broke it down into two different sections. There's a Learn to Play guide, which is approximately, well, I shouldn't say approximately, it is 33 pages long. And I believe it goes through a tutorial combat, and it looks like it fights this, who is this here? The primordials guy here. It's going to fight that guy. And then I believe that even is going to have a ship phase as well, or a traveling phase, or a voyage phase, I'm sorry. It's going to teach you how to do some of the adventures and things like that. If you're looking for a great video on how to play, I know Loquiter Gaming did a Learn to Play he did the first battle here from this tutorial, and he also did the first set of the kind of the voyage phase. So go check that out. I'll put a link to it in the description. Of course, I'll be digging into this game as well. I'm super excited to dig into it. Of course, the first thing I have to dig into is this. This is a 90-some page rulebook, 80-page rulebook right here that I'm going to have to read through completely to figure out 100% how to play the game. But of course, we could just go through the Learn to Play and at least understand the whole idea behind what they're trying to do. All right, let's see what we got here. Of course, this is a campaign game, so I'm not going to try to spoil anything, but there may be spoilers because, of course, I'm not sure exactly everything I'm grabbing. First off, I know I'm not going to open these because these are super secret envelopes. That's what that's going to be. I am looking at this right now, and these are for the dials that we're going to be assembling. I'm looking into this box, and I'm going to be a little worried because it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to sleeve all these cards and still get it back into this box. I don't think that's happening. This, I believe, is where we're going to put all of our different terrain and potentially some of our tokens. We do have our dice here. And similar to Kingdom Death and some other D10 systems, it's what it would be rolling as D10s. And there is a cool symbol on the 10. And from what I understand, though, not all of them are going to be critical hits and misses and stuff. Only this die is going to be allowing you to do criticals. But a 10 is always a hit, is always a success, and a 1 is always a miss, from what I understand. And once you do that, then you're going to be rolling some of these dice. And these, you're going to compare some of the slashes and potentially some of the symbols you have in your Kratos pool. And that is going to determine whether or not you are able to wound the particular location that you're able to hit. Again, very similar in style to the way that game plays. And I might be doing some references to Kingdom Death just because it is a very similar system, though this game is different, and I'm excited to dig into it. So let's pull out a lot of these cards and see which ones of these I can actually show off, which could be almost none, or it could be all of them. We'll find out. These first set of cards are all body parts and IA cards for all of the different primordials we're going to be fighting. There's an astronomical amount of them. Look at that. That is absolutely fantastic. But here's a couple of them. I'm going to show a few because this is the tutorial monster you fight. So I'm going to show you at least a couple of the cards that it kind of scripts that you're going to fight if you do the tutorial. Like, for example, this is the very first combat card you're going to see when you're doing the scripted tutorial, which is Cold Open. And on here you're seeing different things on the card. First, you're going to see the level of the primordial type, which is right up here. Then you're going to see, or sorry, it's right here. Then you're going to see the card level, which is level 1, because of course that's probably the best thing to do. You want to fight level 1 stuff at first. Now, as you fight them, you're going to be removing and adding cards, making the monster become more difficult and become stronger. So instead of it becoming weaker, it becomes stronger. You're going to be adding like level 2 and level 3 cards to the decks that you're going to be fighting against. It does have an evasion stat, which is what you have to roll to try to hit it, I believe. You need to get a 6, or you need to evade this on a 6+, I'm sorry. And then we have our move and attack, which looks like a 4. Its targeting is a 4. I'm still kind of learning how this all works. I think you need a 4 or 6 to evade this. Then here's its target priority, and it's going to go after the target with the Titan in front in range, so it's going to try to target that. Then, of course, it has a move and attack, so it's going to do this, which I believe is going to, well, there are different numbers there. We'll have to see how this all transpires, but I do want to show you how an actual attack card looks, and then we'll see how it reacts when we actually play the game. But after the attack, it does have pushback, which is different. They have a knockback as well, but the pushback, of course, is just going to push you back, where the knockback is going to, or sorry, the knockback knocks you back, where the pushback, I believe, he follows you as you're fighting against him. He kind of like keeps on punching, and you keep being pushed back. Now, of course, on top of that, we do have body parts, and those you're going to try to hit as well. And if you do hit them, you're going to have to try to break the certain body parts. And when you hit them, you're going to be drawing a certain body part. Again, this is the scripted card you're going to get from the tutorial, so I'm not spoiling too much, but I just want to show you how this all works. Again, we have the level of the card. This is what you're going to need to try to be able to, this is how many you need to roll to be able to wound it. Remember, we're rolling these dice. It's not a D10 anymore, so it would be a little bit tougher to get these numbers. When you do wound, it's going to do a certain thing. There could be things if you miss or things of that nature. Also, just like the other games that we play, there could be potential criticals, which you're going to be able to do super things and get super things from. You could maybe get tokens, you could get actual resources from a resource deck if you're able to critical certain body parts. So that's a really neat system how you're drawing attack cards and you're drawing body part cards as you hit them. So this is going to be super fun. I can hardly wait to try it. The next deck of cards I have is all about technology. These are things you're going to probably be able to learn as you play through the game, depending on what you're able to find. Because some things are going to have, I'm trying to kind of hide some of it, but I know they're eventually going to spoil a little bit of things here. But you're going to have to get prerequisites for certain technologies. For example, this one needs, what does that say here? An alliance of some kind, or this one needs nothing, but it leads to this. You're going to be able to add those, I believe, to the deck. Now, once, of course, you learn it, you can flip it over and you're able to gain the powers that are on the back of this that there's usually for all the 3 different stages. There's ones for fighting, there's one for travel, there's one for voyages, there's all different technologies for all the different parts of the game that are going to increase your chances of making it through the game. The next cards are, we found these Menmos, which are going to be kind of giving your particular Argonauts a kind of a difference. They're going to be giving them kind of a backstory, a past. Some of these are going to be like Coward's Way. You could have Imprisonment right here. This is the one I think they have in the instruction booklet. And then these were going to give each of your characters kind of different abilities or different disadvantages as they play through the game based on kind of their background that they've gone through. On top of that, there is some cards that have to do with how the terrain is going to work. Then again, we have even more technologies. Look at this. There's an astronomical amount of technologies that we can get in this game. There's like 2 huge complete sets of decks for these technologies. There are a few cards at the back here that have to do with single and double wounds. I don't think you're going to want those. But for example, here is Rhetoric. You need like the last Academy in order to require it. The reason I'm showing you this one is this is what's in the rule book to kind of explain what one is. This is what it's going to lead to. And then once, like I said, you get it, you're able to flip it over, and then you're able to use these certain abilities here while you're going through that stage of the game, or be able to, or for potential, it could only be used for maybe some of your characters. It could be used for the boat. It could be, you never know. We'll see how all these different technologies work. And there's so many. They're astronomical amount. I don't even know how you're ever going to, you're not going to be able to see even half of these. Then we've got, I guess, some other stuff back, some traits. I don't know what those are. Or maybe these might be traits that some of the, what do you call those guys? The main characters, the primordials that you're going to fight, these traits might affect kind of how they play as they gain, as you fight them more. Because you are, I believe, going to fight them more than once. And so these will maybe make them a little bit different as you fight them. And then there are some, of course, secret decks that we don't want to open. This is Secret Deck 7. I'm sure 1 through 6 is probably in here. These are the different map tiles that you're going to be traveling around. And there are, again, a ton of all these different map tiles. And I believe these are they could be for the different cycles based on the colors, or it could be different areas of the world. Let's take a look at least one of these. This would be a great time to show off the tile box that has all the tiles for this game. So these are a little bit thicker cardboard that you're going to be able to use. And for example, it has the number of the tile on there. And just like if you've played a game like the Seventh Continent, it shows you where you're supposed to go on the map based on that. There's one more set of tiles down here. Now I'm going to try to show you the ones that are for the tutorial, so I'm not spoiling anything else except for what you see right here because they came open like this. But this is the big tile box that I got with it, which is cool because they're all going to be awesome looking cardboard. Here are a few of those map tiles. These are the first 2 you're going to see inside the tutorial if you do it. So I believe this is about as unspoilery as I can do. But as you can see, the art on there is pretty cool. You're going to be able to sail your little Argonaut boat around here. The ship is then, once it gets to these different positions, it's going to have to perform different like adventures on these tiles here. So it'll start over here, and then say you move to this tile and you just reveal this one, you're going to have this adventure. And it's mandatory to do these adventures, and I believe some of them are scripted, and some of them you might roll on a table to see what exactly happens to your crew of the boat and you guys while you're on these tiles. So again, like I said, just a couple of them here, but they do all match up, and they're going to create this vast world as you explore all of Aeon's Trespass Odyssey. This is going to be, it's going to be an odyssey in itself. So those are the tiles. I should say the cards. I have the tiles, which are pretty sweet. There is a stack of cards down here. These say no trespass, so it's a secret deck. I'm not going to be able to get to that one. And the last set of cards we have are these smaller ones back here. We'll look through as many of these as we can. Of course, some of these are going to say no trespassing, which means I'm not going to be able to get into it. I might be able to show some of that one. Let's see here. Oh, there's one I might be able to show. We're getting a few of them here. Hey, yeah, some more stuff. Of course, some of these are just going to be probably items and equipment that you're going to be able to get. And there's a ton of it here, so I might just show you the kind of ones that you're going to find when you're playing through the game and at least reading through the rule books and explaining some of these. So there are a ton. Let's take a look. Before we dig into those smaller cards, let's look at these. In here is a huge stack of giant cards. These cards are made up of 12 different primordials, 14 different Titans. There's also some Doom cards and some story cards built into here as well. As you can see, I'm just flipping through them like this could be one of the story cards that you have to deal with. These are going to be some of the Doom cards you're going to deal with. Again, not trying to show off as much. I'm just flipping through it as fast as I can, but that's what these cards are. These are really cool looking. I'm pretty excited about these. I like the art. It's very simplistic, but then there are some actually gorgeous pieces back here. If I can find like one of these again, this gorgeous piece right there. That's a really neat piece of art. Now, of course, it does have these. These, I believe, are our first 4 characters we're going to see, mainly because I've noticed that they all have the same types of powers. If you look at some of the other ones we're going to be gaining, eventually they get a little bit better powers and things of that nature. These are going to be how the Kratos pool, how it works and what you're able to put into it. These are the trauma cards. As you get hurt or damaged, or when you take a hit, or to some points you're going to have to be drawing trauma cards that could eventually be beneficial, or they could be detrimental to you. This is the die you're going to be able to add along with any type of weapons and stuff you have that are going to be able to damage a particular part of the body that you hit. This is your speed, and this is just kind of a special power that each one of these have. And like I said, they're all exactly the same. So these are going to be probably the first 4 miniatures we paint up, because these are the first 4 guys we're going to get. And then I know this is the first person you fight because he's in the tutorial mission book that you're fighting. It shows you a little bit about him. I believe this shows you what you need to have to hit him, how fast he moves, what his health is, and as you can see, he's going to become more powerful as the story continues. And it's probably very similar to fighting the same type of monster in other games, and they're going to hopefully get better and be more tricky as you go forward fighting them. Of course, it has its own little abilities here that you're fighting, and then it shows you what level it is right here. It shows you also which way it faces and if it has a rear facing arc, I believe. And as you set up the thing, it does actually decide, you're going to decide how it's like, which facing it is based on a card draw, which is kind of cool. So it's not just automatically facing all your guys. They'll be facing in different directions. And on the back, it continues to get even more powerful, but I don't want to show it'd be a little bit too much spoiler. I know I'm already showing you 1 through 4, but you have to see a little bit about how this guy reacts and what they have in store for you as they go forward. So you're going to take your 4 guys, always fighting with 4, as far as I understand, and you're going to be fighting against one of these primordials, or potentially more if maybe one jumps on the back of one, like those little miniatures that all stick together, which is kind of cool. So we'll put these aside. And now we'll look at some of these smaller cards, and just like I said, there's some stuff here for conditions with like knockdown and things of that nature. And so when you get knocked down, you can just grab this card. It'll show you exactly what you're going to have to deal with. When you go to stand up, you put your miniature in a normal position and discard the card. But at least you know when you have this card, that is the fate you're in. And speaking of fate, I believe these are going to be the different fate cards, or trauma cards. I'm sorry, these are trauma cards. And the more terrible looking the picture is, the worse it is for you. They have grave traumas, and they have major traumas, and they're going to probably have minor traumas, which are in another deck. Here's some more major traumas. There's some minor traumas here. I will show a minor trauma because these are the first ones you're going to get. And like I said, some of these can be beneficial, some can be bad. So this is marked for glory. You gain the priority target token. If you do, you gain 1 positive precision token, which I believe is going to help you be able to hit better. If you already have the priority target, you still gain the precision token. So if you got hit and you took damage, this would actually be beneficial to you, which is kind of fun how this game kind of goes back and forth. Then there's going to be some items, I believe, in here. And again, I don't want to show too many of those because I'm not sure when you'd be actually finding these in the game. So I don't want to spoil too many of the items that you're able to craft or find as you play through it and fight some of these monsters. Because remember, some of these monsters are going to be able to give you resources based on whether or not you critically hit them or not. When it comes to different gear, here is the fists card. I can show this card because, again, you'll have it right away. It shows you whether it's a 1 or 2-handed. It shows you how many dice you're going to roll when you attack. This is how much you're going to add to your dice roll. This is how many of these dice you're going to be able to roll to try to wound as you get through the game. They're called power dice, and how many of these you're going to roll. On top of that, it does have a little ability down here where I can use it one-handed, but of course I'll only be rolling 1 10-sider instead of 2. And I believe whenever you roll the dice, no matter how many you roll, you always are going to roll this one first, and then all the rest of them are going to become more of those black dice you see, because you potentially crit with this one, but not all the rest of them. So this is again one of the gear cards. On the back it does say fists and tooth and will and guts. Why not, right? You can have some fists. So that is, and as you go through this, you're going to gain some for defense. It's going to help you with evasion. You can also, there's going to be a whole bunch of different tags and different keywords that are going to be used in this game that are going to give your characters better abilities for up close or ranged, or for defending or blocking or knocking back people or putting people on the ground. So there's going to be just an astronomical amount of ways to be able to kit out your characters as you play through. And with that, that's really about all I can show out of the box. But the last thing I have for you is the playmat that came with the game. It has some fantastic art. And around the side is really cool because it shows you all the different card and abilities of where everything is supposed to go. Like we have the AI discard, the the body parts up here, the discards, the decks, our wound stack right there, where our primordial, anything that has to do with what he has, some extra cards. We have miscellaneous, we have summons, we have Argo abilities, we have terrain, we have all the, here's our Kratos pool down here, here's where the traumas are going to go, our conditions, we have miscellaneous stuff. So this battle map looks pretty awesome. Of course, we're going to take our little guys and we're going to stick them down onto this mat somewhere, and they're going to take on a primordial, which would be pretty awesome. We'll put him just kind of right, I'm just grabbing random stuff here, and we'll put him in the middle, so it does, just to show you a size comparison, it is a pretty decent size playmat. And of course, we're going to have different terrain pieces down there as well. And you're going to move around and you're going to hopefully try to take this guy down. What has he got? We got a big giant crossbow here. Yeah, eat crossbow. Pow! Oh! Okay, now I'm being a little dorky. All right, there we go. So this is the playmat. Pretty sweet. I'm excited for it. And there you have it. That is our unboxing of Aeon Trespass Odyssey. It's super cool. It's a big giant white box. I should probably put something more colorful on top of it, like maybe some of our primordials or maybe one of our character cards or something. Let's do that. Let's put these guys out here. There. It makes it look a little bit more cool. So we're going to get to playing this game. I might start with the tutorial to see how it all plays out and then maybe just start our game, or I might record the tutorial so everybody can see how it plays, and then we'll continue this game. This is a giant campaign game. I would like to get this to the table as fast as I can to show you how this plays. I'm excited to do it. We are, of course, going to be painting up all of our primordials, and we're going to paint up all of the different, what are these called? The Titans. We're going to paint up probably all 4 of these, so they're going to be ready to go, and then we'll probably be doing that live so you can see those played. I hope you enjoyed the unboxing. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell symbol so you know when Aeon's Trespass Odyssey playthrough comes out. Also, please feel free to leave anything in the comments below. I would love to hear from everyone. If you're interested in supporting the channel, my Patreon is found in the description of this video. The people that have been able to support my channel are found here on the screen. Thank you so much for your support. It means a lot. It helps me bring these games to the table. On top of that, our Patreon supporters are able to help decide which one of these Titans potentially may be joining our team. If we ever have a lot of them, then we'll be able to help me decide who plays in the game. We'll also decide to maybe help make some decisions as we get to the end of some of our videos before moving into the next part of our campaign. On top of that, they can also help decide what we're going to be painting for our live painting videos. And when you join me live painting, you can see how these are all painted. It's super fun. Also, once a week, I try to get together with Colin at the One Stop Co-op Shop, and we also play games together, and I'm hoping to get this to the table with him. I think that would be an absolute blast to play this game. Again, thank you so much for watching, and if you're excited to see Aeon's Trespass Odyssey, or of course anything else, then I need you to meet me at the table.